And we are just going to crash right through a commercial break to go straight to Joel Brenner. Joining us now is Joel Brenner. He's the former Inspector General of the National Security Agency under President George W. Bush from 2002 to 2006. Joel Brenner was the head of U.S. counterintelligence in the Office of the Director of National Intelligence in the Bush administration from 2006 to 2009. And Mr. Brenner, thank you very much for joining us again tonight. I wanted to get your reaction to what Carol Leonnig is reporting tonight, which is supplementary to what we learned in the whistleblowers report. The whistleblowers report describes this special treatment of the phone transcript, the phone record of the president's conversation with the president of Ukraine. And now the Washington Post is reporting that since the beginning of the administration, they have taken increasing steps along the way to restrict access to the records of the president's phone calls.
Well, I can tell you, Lawrence, that when I was the NSA IG, if we were doing an investigation and in the course of it had discovered that someone we were looking at, a person of interest, had misclassified and overclassified documents in order to shield them from legitimate, for an illegitimate purpose, and we proved that, that person would have been frog-marched out of the building that day, stripped of his clearance that day, not tomorrow, that day, and walked out of the building either to go home or into the arms of an FBI agent who would have put him or her in handcuffs. Now, it's been said that, well, the president can classify anything any way he wants. Well, first place, even the president has to can do certain things, but has to do them according to the rules of the executive branch. And secondly, it's basic law, Lawrence, that anyone who does an otherwise lawful act for an unlawful purpose makes that otherwise lawful act against the law. That's fundamental black letter conspiracy law. This is deeply troubling.
Would you advise the lawyers in the White House who are not mentioned by name but described in the whistleblowers report, White House lawyers telling people in the White House to basically reclassify the transcript of the president's call, move it into the most high-level security holding they have for it? Would you say those White House lawyers should be out getting their own personal criminal defense lawyers right now?
I'm glad you asked that, because that to me was one of the most stunning things about this document. When you have a really nasty scandal, you want to ask, where were the lawyers? And in this case, if that complaint proves out, we've got lawyers who were participating in a conspiracy. And I would be surprised if those lawyers tonight aren't consulting with counsel. Because let me read you something really short, Lawrence. It comes from the ABA's Rules of Professional Conduct, which are pretty much in effect in every state in the union. A lawyer shall not counsel a client to engage or assist a client in conduct that the lawyer knows is criminal or fraudulent. Now, that means that not only do those lawyers have potential criminal exposure, but they've got exposure in terms of their licenses to practice law. And we will see how this pans out and whether there's some cracks in that. But if those lawyers aren't worried tonight, they're not wide awake.
Joel Brenner, thank you very much for joining us on this Breaking News Night. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on the button below for more from The Last Word and the rest of MSNBC.